This is the moment everything went down. The U.S. Navy MH-60 Seahawk helicopter suspended just 40 feet above open water, unleashing precision rifle fire on a Cartel go-fast boat tearing across the Caribbean Sea. What you're looking at is 100% real, no reenactment, no simulation. And the story behind it is far more insane than the footage. Over the next several minutes, I'm going to show you how the FBI, the U.S. Navy, and the United States Coast Guard executed one of the most dramatic maritime drug interceptions in American history. 2 tons of pure cocaine, a street value topping $100 million, and a high-speed chase that forced the United States to authorize disabling fire from a military aircraft at sea. But before we continue, hit that like button to help us beat the YouTube algorithm and to show your support. 6 months earlier, long before the helicopter's rotors ripped the morning air, FBI counter-narcotics units in Miami were tracking one of the deadliest cartels in the Western Hemisphere, Los Sinaloa, the same organization responsible for flooding the U.S. with cocaine, heroin, meth, and fentanyl. Through wiretaps, encrypted text extractions, flipped informants, and weeks of surveillance, agents uncovered something massive. The cartel was shifting tactics, no more smuggling across land borders, no more tractor trailers or covert airstrips. They were now moving their high-purity product by sea. The plan was brutally efficient. Launch a high-performance ghost boat, a fiberglass speed machine designed explicitly to outrun law enforcement, from Colombia's Pacific coast. Load it with over 4,000 pounds of pure cocaine. Keep the vessel dark. No lights, no AIS transponder, minimal radar signature. Twin outboards generating 900 combined horsepower. Top speed, over 50 miles per hour in open water. The crew's orders were simple. Get the product north, offload to a receiving crew, vanish. The FBI knew the stakes. If this shipment made landfall, it would evaporate into dozens of distribution lines within hours. The overdose count would spike. The cartel would net a 9-figure payday, and the smugglers, ghosts on arrival, would disappear. So the Bureau made one call. Within hours, a joint task force formed. FBI intelligence, Coast Guard interdiction units, and United States Navy aviation assets. Intelligence packets were pushed, encrypted channels opened, and operational timelines synced. The mission was formally designated Operation Ocean Strike. Objective: intercept and seize the shipment in international waters before it touched the American coastline. The vessel was already in motion. The race had begun. 200 nautical miles off Central America, the USS Winston S. Churchill, a 9,000-ton Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, cut through the ocean at 18 knots. Its SPY-1DV radar scanned a 360-degree bubble, monitoring air and surface contacts across a battle space spanning over 100,000 square kilometers. Embedded aboard was a Coast Guard law enforcement detachment, Leadet 404, armed, trained, and federally authorized to conduct maritime interdictions. This detail matters. The U.S. Navy brings overwhelming force, aircraft, and radar, but they do not have arrest authority on the high seas. The Coast Guard does. To the east, the Coast Guard fast response cutter sprinted across the swells, pushing 28 knots. Aboard were tactical law enforcement teams, tacklet operators, armed for hostile boardings, pursuit engagements, and close-quarter seizures. But the most critical asset wasn't on the water. It was in the sky. The Navy's P-8 Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft, essentially a militarized Boeing 737 packed with synthetic aperture radar, high-resolution EO/IR sensors, and magnetic anomaly detectors, began scanning the region. It searched for a needle in an ocean-sized haystack, a tiny boat moving fast, low, and dark. At 0614 hours, it found one. Poseidon 3 to all units, contact bearing 270, range 15 miles. Speed 50 knots, no transponder, vessel matches target profile. The destroyer turned, the cutter turned. Leadet personnel moved to stations. The smugglers had no idea they'd already been locked in the crosshairs. Inside the Winston's hangar bay, the Seahawk's crew prepped the aircraft, fuel topped, weapons secured. HITRON detachment aboard. HITRON, the helicopter interdiction tactical squadron, is the Coast Guard's apex sharpshooter team. trained specifically to stop go-fast boats using precision disabling fire. Dawn broke as the fast response cutter's lookouts confirmed visual contact. A white, low-profile speedboat, twin Yamahas roaring, no flag, no markings. Exactly what Miami Intel had predicted. Unidentified vessel. This is the United States Coast Guard. Stop your engines and prepare to be boarded. The smugglers answered by slamming both throttles open. The engines screamed. Water erupted from the stern. The hull planed out. Speed surged past 50 miles per hour. They were running. The cutter launched its 26-foot over-the-horizon pursuit craft, an armored pursuit boat carrying a tactical interdiction team. They tore across the waves, closing distance foot by foot. The smugglers zigzagged violently, throwing arcs of seawater into the air, desperately trying to break the cutter's intercept vector. Then, the air changed. From the destroyer's deck, the MH-60 Seahawk leapt into the sky, rotors hammering the water, closing the gap with terrifying speed. The smugglers glanced up and froze. For the first time, they realized the scale of what was bearing down on them. Panic set in. One of the crew began heaving plastic-wrapped cocaine bricks over the side, each brick worth tens of thousands of dollars. Splash after splash, millions of dollars sinking into the depths. But the engines stayed wide open. The Seahawk closed in to 50 yards, low enough that the rotor wash flattened the ocean into mist. Inside, the HITRON marksman stabilized his rifle. His target wasn't the men, it was the engines. One disabling shot could end the chase. Shooter, clear to engage. Disable only. Engines only. The marksman exhaled. 3 shots. The first round pierced the starboard outboard. Sparks. A burst of flame. Smoke erupted as the engine seized. The second engine caught a round directly through its casing. Sheer failure. Total loss of drive. The go-fast boat lurched violently, skidding across its own wake before dying in the water. Chase over. The pursuit team boarded within minutes. 2 smugglers, exhausted and terrified, surrendered immediately. No weapons, no resistance. But the cargo? 4,475 pounds. Over 2.2 tons of high-purity cocaine. Wholesale value, $100 million. Street value, triple that. Each bale was photographed, weighed, tagged, and entered into the digital chain of custody system. Phones were seized, coordinates logged. The suspects were read their rights and transferred to federal custody. They were now facing potential life sentences. The go-fast boat, shot through, unregistered, and now a navigational hazard, was scuttled at sea. One final order, a shaped charge placed on the hull, a muffled detonation. The vessel slid beneath the waves. But this interception wasn't just about the cocaine. It was about intelligence. Every number in the smugglers' phones, every encrypted chat, every timestamp became ammunition. Within 2 weeks, the intel generated from this operation triggered 3 additional interdictions, 5 arrests, and 2 cartel safe houses raided across Central America. This wasn't luck. It was coordination, FBI intelligence, U.S. Navy sensors and aviation assets, Coast Guard Interdiction Authority, and precision marksmanship. 3 branches, 1 mission, flawlessly executed. Operation Ocean Strike wasn't just a drug bust. It was a message to every cartel operating across the hemisphere. You can run at 50 miles per hour. You can hide in 1,000 miles of open ocean. But the United States will find you. We will pursue you. And we will stop you day or night, storm or silence. If you made it this far, thank you for watching. Operations like this involve thousands of hours of work by people who rarely get the recognition they deserve, but their work saves lives and protects millions. If you want more real-world breakdowns of military and federal missions the mainstream media barely covers, hit subscribe right now, drop a comment, and tell me, should the Coast Guard get more funding for interdiction, or should resources be shifted elsewhere? Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next one.